Buck Rogers. It's got everything in it, every ingredient. George made a movie that he wanted to see, not a movie that he thought the public would want to see, because if he thought that if he'd made a movie like that, we would be seeing a disaster film again or something like that, probably.
In touch with the Flash Gordons as well in this.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's a pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention of it.
Well, you're assuming that I train Ray.
Exactly. Sneaky.
Do I?
Sneaky.
I know I have to be really careful. People say, was it difficult to pick up and wield a lightsaber again? And I go, do I pick up?
Was it difficult acting in this movie? Am
Well,
I in this movie?
I can promise you my part is twice as big as it was in Force Awakens.
Are you bummed that Luke didn't get sort of a reunion with Han Solo?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was reading it, I thought, if Leia's trying to mentally contact me and she's not successful, she'll rush to his aid. She'll get close to him and then get into some dire situation, and that's when I show up for a big yay! Save her life. Then we rush to Han and are in the same position that Rey and Finn and Chewie are. Too late to save him, but witnesses. And I say, because it would carry so much emotional resonance into the next film. For us, his wife, his best friend to witness, instead of two characters that have known him, what, 20 minutes? Who is this guy? How did the most optimistic, hopeful character in the galaxy turn into this hermit who says it's time for the Jedi to end? I read that and I said, what? I mean, that's not what a Jedi does. I mean, a Jedi is optimistic. A Jedi has tenacity. He never gives up. He doesn't secrete himself on an island. But you'll...
Something that George initially set out to do was a kind of 3-act saga with these 3 trilogies. And I think we felt that we should honor and respect that.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars. So I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker.
I think that the thing that George never did was maintain the status quo. And I think that that's really important because...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
He's not my Luke Skywalker. I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference.
Have you been keeping Rey's secret from the beginning? Did you know about the parentage? Like, tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went, there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then even I filming and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
But this was incredible.
Fuck you!
Telling fantasy stories is the thing I love to do. And I'm the crazy law loyalist who's all about the details and probably frustrating the bejesus out of everyone by saying, yeah, but what about this? And what about this bit? But he can do this. And everyone's going, hey, just do the thing. Henry, just do the thing. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do the thing. But you do realize he can do this. And I enjoy that aspect of the storytelling. I enjoy getting into it. I enjoy being that person who's always about the details.
Is it terrible when they scream?
No, it's awesome.
Oh, God. Oh.
What's up, all my Ewoks, Trolls, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Jessi Milestone.
What is up, everybody? I am here. I am present and accounted for, alive, uneaten by the cannibals of the world, like Armie
Oh no, cannibals. Armie Hammer, where? But we are also joined by two very special guests as well. Today we are joined by the one and only Mary Mayhem. Say hello, Mary.
Man, I'm just upset that the cannibals didn't make it to Jessi. I sent them like 3 weeks ago. Dang it.
Damn it, Mary, not again. We're not a shotgun shell.
And last but certainly not least, we are joined by the one and only Kelly, also known as Jedi Bunny. What's up, Kelly?
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here.
We are happy to have you here. We're going to talk about Star Wars today, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Go figure.
I know, right? No, guys, we're going to do an entire segment on rating the pictures of Henry Cavill.
Oh, God, you're trying to give me the
them all a 10.
I'm down.
I almost lost it when you played that clip about him. Like, no, I love it when they scream. But it was just like, oh, shit.
You know, what's funny? Because obviously YouTube knows me very well since Google stalks the shit out of all of us. But it'll suggest videos it thinks I like, which conveniently it knows I have an addiction to Henry. I did to play this video of somebody talking shit about Henry, and I was like, hold my fucking beer. What did you just say? And it was like, oh, he said this thing back in like 2015 about how it's convenient to, have money now because he likes to fly first class because flying, regular when you're over 6 foot is uncomfortable. What a terrible person.
Oh, God forbid. So hold on. Here's my question about that. So we can all like sit back and accommodate for people who are chunky and like, oh, we need to make more room and body acceptance and all that. But Henry Cavill can't make note of the fact that he's tall and it sucks to sit.
Yep.
What the hell?
Jeff is 6'5", so his desire to fly in first class to have more legroom has nothing to do with the fact that he's a rich and famous actor, because he, isn't. So,
yeah, he's vertically privileged.
So, actually, he helped out an old lady at a supermarket the other day who needed to reach the ranch on the top shelf in the back. So,
ooh, yeah.
Because of Jeff, it's he did a service. So, privileged my ass. He gives that opportunity every day.
Do you ever just find yourself sitting around observing tall people and thinking, what if? I've done that. I've done that a few times.
You're at that advantage. I mean, as an above average woman, I've never been that unhappy, like slightly above average. Like not too so above average that I'm unhappy with my size, but not like so short that I've had to wonder what it would be like to, reach the top cabinets.
It sucks at concerts when there are tall people that get in front of you. That's the hard part for me.
My friend Kelly is concerts because I'm just the enforcer. I'm the battering ram that makes the hole for everybody.
You take your sword with you, poke them all out of the way.
I was watching a drunk stream earlier, and I'm just like, if I was standing next to him, my head wouldn't even be in this stream because he's so freaking tall. Like his eye angle, like this is what it must feel like to be able to see the world from this height.
Wow.
Amazing. You smell fewer farts up here, let me tell you.
Wow. That one hadn't occurred to me.
You're above, what is it called when you're above the wind? Upwind.
Upwind, yeah.
Upwind.
I gotta give that a try sometime.
Wicked Steel, thank you for the super chat. Good evening, ladies, and Anna, the Queen Hobbit. Love y'all. Anna, have you enjoyed any of the Code Red Mountain Dew? No, I have not.
What? You've never had Code Red Mountain Dew?
No, I love Code Red Mountain Dew. I drink it all the time, but it's sold out where I live.
Didn't somebody send you a bunch though?
I haven't opened a box of it.
I remembered somebody saying they were going to send you some. So
was it Wicked Steel?
Maybe.
Well, I opened up my P.O. box presents and I didn't have any, so I don't know. Drunk, thank you for the super chat. What a great panel. Henry is okay, trust me. Let's get Anna to Orlando, people. Henry is much more than okay. But that's coming from a man that gets all of the attention from the woman that dumped Henry Cavill twice.
I don't know, according to some Catholic radio host or something, apparently Enola Holmes was the most evil movie of 2020.
I saw that. I didn't read further. I was curious momentarily and then had to get back to work. What was that about?
I had to take a break from watching that movie because, okay, this is how weird I am. Henry is so freaking sexy, and the way he says certain sentences, I'm like, if I were to just clip this and edit it, it could be like he's having a really sexy time conversation with me. And I'm like, I need to take a break because that's a level of weirdness I never thought I would get to, and I'm kind of ashamed of it.
I think you should explore it, Anna. I think you should explore it.
Well, oh my gosh, let me
Don't encourage her, Kelly.
I need to show you this. Okay, so I was on Midnight's Edge the other day, and somebody's like, Anna, have you tried out the Henry Cavill Witcher mod? And I'm like, no, tell me more. So somebody made this mod for The Witcher where it makes Geralt Henry Cavill. What the fuck? Go away, stupid ad. Hold on 1 second.
I have the same problem. Because I refuse to get YouTube Prime or whatever it is now. I have the same problem. I refuse to get it. People are like, well, just go ahead. Nah, I'm not doing that. Forget it. They screw me over far too much for me to give them my money like that. They already take 30% of everything I make.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And they
look at it's a mod you can get. So when you play The Witcher 3, it's Henry Cavill.
Okay, so I have on the Gina Carano front, though. I would think we should start a betting pool as to whether or not Gina Carano takes Drunk 3PO as her date for award season next year.
Oh no! I hadn't even occurred to me.
Could
wow.
you imagine Drunk 3PO at the freaking Emmys?
My money says yeah. My money
needs to get his happy self like a really nice suit if that's the case. Like you need to look spiffy.
That's a whole different level of car hopping.
No, he has problems. Trust me.
Oh.
I've got problems too, and 99 of them are the ones where I don't have Henry Cavill within my reach.
There you go. And conveniently, Henry Cavill also has 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Wow.
Yeah, that is cool. GP Spectre, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Anna. Just wanted you to know I received your comic with signed card last night. It looks amazing. Thank you. Oh, that's so good to hear. I heard that they had trouble because of COVID, so people hadn't gotten.
Yeah, I haven't gotten mine yet either, and I'm
Wow.
upset. I advocated heavily for those cards.
You did. Well, it makes you feel better, Mary. My mother hasn't gotten hers yet either.
Oh, well, I don't need to get mine before your mom, so that's okay.
So I ordered some too. And so just to have extras and whatnot. And so I had them sent to my mom's and none of them have come in. But they got hit with COVID and not being able to work and mail things out or something. So... But I'm happy to hear that, people are getting them again. So thank you for the super chat and thank you for the support on that. More in the works soon. But thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
All right. Where is my article? Now I'm distracted with Henry's stuff. Here we go. All righty. Stop sharing screen. Start sharing the others. So what's new with all of you? While I get this up.
I live in a new apartment.
Ooh.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks so hard, and the lobby always smells like weed.
Oh no!
I mean, all of the buildings in California, the lobbies all always smell like weed.
Always smell like weed.
That's me.
They are. So I can empathize, even if I don't really sympathize.
Sometimes they overcompensate and it smells like baby powder.
We have that. Sometimes they do the stuff in our hallways. It smells it's just the cleaner smell that I associate with trying to cover up the smell of cigarette smoke. So I still just smell the cigarette smoke whenever I smell that smell. Yep.
What's new with you, Kelly?
Basically same stuff, different day. Just trying to get my head on straight. This year's been a doozy, but feeling slightly more human every week or so. So progress.
That's good. How are the cats? Or the one cat, right?
Yeah, I have one cat, Nova. She's awesome. I think she's sleeping right now. Oh yeah, she just heard her name, so she got up. Walking over.
Mom, what do you want? Do I need attention? Drunk, thank you for another super chat. Love you guys. Have a great stream. More money for Orlando fun. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Drunk has it on in his mind that I'm going to come to Disney World, and I just might.
You should.
Well, I mean, flights are cheap. And so I've always had like a stigma that I really don't want to go to Florida because I have a bad feeling something bad will happen.
Well, odds are something bad will happen, but that doesn't mean you'll be there for it.
That's true.
Or maybe you'll get super lucky and catch it on film and have a video of some people breaking out into a fight in Disney.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
We know because of the fire swamp. That doesn't mean we want to build a summer home there.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, so I might go just because I'm like, I really want to travel, but everything is closed. But I guess if I go to Florida, it's open. I
feel like that's one of those things though, where it's like, oh my God, everything is closed, but Florida's open. Tell me that's probably the place where everybody you don't want to be around is going to also be.
Exactly, but that might make for good YouTube content. Jess.
Exactly. You capitalize on that crap. Just go for it.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to meet Drunk in person.
That bitch Carol Baskin lives in Florida. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Exotic did not get pardoned, so Donald Trump is dead to me.
No, he's not pardoned, I heard.
I heard he was going to do a bunch of pardons, but I didn't follow up on that because I'm so fucking sick of politics. I can't see straight. I'm so over it.
I honestly didn't even read the pardon list. I just followed up on whether or not Joe Exotic got pardoned.
I just saw it because it was trending on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh, he didn't get pardoned." I was like, "I bet Carol Baskin is happy."
Yeah, fucking Baskin. But you know what? Jeff Lowe lost the Tiger Cub, so I'm happy about that. He was the guy.
Oh, good. Oh, he was scary. Good.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
The guy who stole the zoo from Joe, they just lost their cubs. They got them taken away, basically.
I don't think
Oh.
that guy was scary.
Yeah, that guy was a dick.
Yeah, he was bringing them to, in freaking suitcases to rooms in Vegas and shit like that.
Jesus.
He was euthanizing them.
Yeah,
he was like a cult leader too. Very, very creepy.
Yeah, that guy who was like the guy on the elephant, right?
Doc.
No,
that's Doc.
Yeah, Doc.
Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm gonna give someone else.
Yeah.
Doc was the one that I really, really
That
scared.
was a really repulsive one. But
the creepy sex cult guy.
Yeah.
This is such a weird sentence.
The creepy tiger sex cult guy.
Right? But
like 100 watt. Like that show is like right when you think it couldn't get weirder, it does.
Oh my God. Oh, did you hear that O.J. Simpson thinks that Carol Baskin did it?
Wow. That's
These are the kinds of opinions I want celebrities to voice.
Important. I'll keep your politics to yourself. Really, shut the fuck up. But I'm here for it, OJ. Please tell me who else did it.
That should be a question you ask during the interview, Jessi. Do you think Carol Baskin did it?
Oh my God! I might have to be like, all right, Richard, did you see the Tiger Gang? Carol Baskin kill her husband.
He needs to spill the juice.
Oh my God! That actually, honestly, if he did see it, it would be an interesting thing to ask him because his background was documentaries and he's kind of gone back to that a lot. So it would be really interesting to ask him about, what he saw with the way the documentary was put together that became the sensation, So there could actually be a legitimate way to work Tiger King into the discussion.
Hell yeah!
It would of course lead to me asking Richard if he thinks Carol Baskin did it.
Yeah. I think that would be something I would actually want to know about, right? Like, do you think she did it?
I don't think we put the context in here before since we've been on air. I'm going to do a video series with Richard Chu, the editor, one of the guys who worked on Star Wars, as well as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the Conversation Risky Business, and a whole slew of other things. So I'm super, super stoked to do that. That's coming up in the next few weeks. And like I said, it's going to be a video series with him. So it's going to be badass. Yeah.
Dude, that is so insanely exciting.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I'm still not haven't fully processed, but it'll happen.
I think there's someone at my door. I will be right back. I'm sorry, there's someone at my door.
Maybe it's free pizza. That's always the best. Have you ever had that happen where like the pizza guy accidentally brings you pizza and it's the wrong house, but you just really want pizza?
No, I wish.
No.
People did that to me at the dorms, and at first I was pissed, but I'm like, you know what? What would I do if somebody like I was hungry and a pizza person just magically delivered with pizza and you just accept it? Because I mean, once it touches somebody's hands, they can't give it to the next person. They have to throw it away. So I'm like, what if like this pizza person just shoved pizza into my hands and I had to keep it, or else it would go to waste? So I would keep it.
100%, yes. And speaking of pizza, you ladies both live in California. I have been hard pressed to find a pizza that I love out here. What is your favorite pizza in California, in Southern California?
Oh, and
or even further, I would be willing to drive to get good pizza because I do miss it.
Here's the one that the closest one to use in Santa Monica, Joe's Pizza.
Joe's.
They do buy the slice. They're one of the few LA places that does buy the slice. They've got good New York style. They do great garlic knots. They'll sell you full pizzas or buy the slice. They deliver as well. They might even, the Santa Monica location might even deliver to you.
Ooh, thank you, Jessi. That's clutch.
Yeah, they're great. We got a few up in our neighborhood that I can always steer you towards as well. But it's a little bit further. But yeah, Joe's honestly, I think, is one of the solid knockouts. They've got one in Santa Monica, there's one in West Hollywood, and one just opened up in my neighborhood not long ago.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I'm always looking for that.
Because you're not wrong. It is hard to come by good pizza out here.
Yeah, I miss it. I'm East Coast pizza girl, and it's been a challenge out here.
The other thing is the Chinese food. I can't get a good wonton soup out here.
Oh, I haven't even tried it. I like Thai food out here is pretty good.
Thai food out here is excellent. Thai and Japanese is where it's at.
Yeah, yep.
And like ramen. Oh.
Yes, ramen. I used to this place back in Japan whenever I lived there that had this creamy pork bone ramen. It was ridiculous.
I love creamy ramen.
Well, Mary, you're gonna love visiting out here one day because it's just like ramen places every couple of days.
I miss real ramen. I miss it so much.
And we have a little Tokyo. I don't think it's very much like Tokyo in comparison, but it is a little Tokyo, and they do have some good places.
They do. They have some really neat art shops in that district as well. So
yeah,
so that's really cool.
My favorite pizza place in California is actually in San Francisco. It's called Parat Pizza. It's kind of close to Union Square. It's you have to walk a little bit, but it is the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life. And down here, I've still been trying to find one that can even, slightly measure up. So every time I have pizza, it's always from a new pizza place, and I haven't found that one yet that I like.
To be honest, Anna is not an East Coaster though, so take her opinions on pizza with
I was gonna say, have you ever had New York pizza?
Describe it to me.
I mean,
have you
ever had pizza in New York City? Is the question.
No, I've never been to New York.
I don't think there's such a thing as bad pizza in New York City. Yeah. There are some places that are better than others, but there's no such thing as bad pizza.
You get a bad cheesesteak in Philly. Even the vendors in the street corner, it's delicious.
Yeah,
you guys are making me hungry.
But no, Anna, one day.
Oh my God, pizza looks so good. You know what? I might just order some, and then when it gets here, I just have Peaches bring it to me. Oh, how the heck? Jada Becca, thank you for super chat. Hey, Anna, I've been meaning to ask this for a while, at least a year, but do you do commissions for your artwork? Do you take requests? I do not. But thank you for asking. And I think I'm caught up on super chats. Yeah. So this pizza I'm looking at, let me add it over here, looks absolutely fantastic and mouth-watering, and oh my gosh, I need it in my life.
Yeah, that cheese is on point right there.
Oh my gosh. See, I hate deep dish pizza. I think that is, it's so gross.
Yeah. Jeff loves deep dish, and I keep trying to say it's an abomination. And
man, there's too much dough. The point is the toppings.
Well, no, there's too much sauce. I hate the sauce.
If you pick it as not pizza, as a weird tomato pie with an overabundance of cheese, as long as there's an overabundance of cheese, I will get through it. But it is not pizza, and it does not deserve to be considered in the same category.
I stand with Jessi on this one.
Thank you. I'm very firm on this.
What does it say? Ransom G, thank you for the super chat. Try this place near
the Washington,
Oregon border.
Called $1 Chinese food. Imagine what you'd get for $2. LOL.
I'm gonna snap that because I know who knows when I'm going to be driving up that way. I'm going to take a quick picture of that one. At it because I was once near San Diego and my friend who was great at finding all the local haunts took us to, we thought we were in for it because he took us to like an industrial park and it looked like it was built out of what was a garage. It was a sushi place and it was their anniversary night. So they were having extra sales, but they were, rolls and sushi pieces and stuff for like $3 a piece. And it was some of the best sushi we'd ever tasted. They had like pitchers of beer for $5, and then because it was their anniversary night, they were giving away like free shots. They came out and they were like nice brandy. Oh my god! So when someone tells me like try this little couple buck hole in the wall, you'll never believe how good it is. I'm like, I will believe, and I will take your word for it.
Yeah, those are most often I feel like those are the best places because they have a following that's more niche. And I just, some of those places really, you wouldn't suspect it, but they're amazing.
It's always based on the quality of the food, not the ambiance, not the aesthetic or the fancy menus or tables. It's based on the food.
Well, those are the places that are there for the love of it, right? Like those are the places that are doing this because this is their thing, right? Otherwise, because it's when you're doing like a small town business like that or like a hole in the wall business like that, you're doing it because this is where your passion lies, not because you're going to start off making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's like that sushi guy that started his sushi place in the subway in Japan. Isha, what was his name?
Was it that one in the Netflix documentary?
Yes, he was in the documentary. Why do I forget his name?
I always forget his name, but I really want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I keep hearing
really good. It's really well done. It's moving. I found it really emotionally moving because it's like it's truly his dream, and he's so dedicated, and it becomes his craft. It's really cool.
The best place about that is that when you have that passion, it brings the ambiance. Like you don't have to create it. It comes because the people who come are attracted to the passion you bring, and they bring that. It's kind of like us, when we have fun on streams and we build this wonderful, positive community that supports each other. It's reflected in our chat. I mean, we have this group of followers, and it's because when you put your passion and your love into what you're doing, people can feel it.
Well, it's like the same concept behind cosplaying, right? Like even if you wind up managing at some point later on to become one of those people who actually makes money from it, you're a long way away from that when you start. When you start, it comes from the passion of just loving to craft and create and do this thing.
Exactly. There's not a whole lot left in this world that are purely merit-based industries, and food is really one of them. You really can't fake it with food.
I'm gonna start a hashtag tip your cosplayer.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean that's the thing in Vegas. It's you have, if you want to take a picture with them, then they expect you to tip you.
If I were a cosplayer, I'd carry around a Venmo QR code with me. Be like, yeah, please tip me. By all means, if you appreciate my work and want to see me at more events doing awesome work, by all means, tip me.
Yes, Jiro. Sorry, it's Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Linkovich Chomsky said in the chat. I totally forgot. Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
What is that? What is that documentary?
It's about the gentleman in Japan who started his own sushi restaurant in the subways of Japan, and it became I think it was one of the first multiple Michelin star places, I don't really remember much from it other than the fact that I was moved by it because I watched it when it first came out years ago, but it's really beautifully done.
I've kept hearing about it when it came out. It came out during Netflix's little heyday of documentaries.
Yeah.
Like hit after hit. I watched Blackfish and cried. Ugh.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That got me in that documentary was the older, like grizzled fisherman guy talking about watching people come in to herd them up for SeaWorld and stuff. And separating the babies from the mothers.
Oh, I know. God.
The mothers and the babies looking, and this grown man
crying
up. And I lost it. I was like, oh my god, this man can't keep it together. Talking about that, how can you people do this shit?
It's disgusting. It's so bad.
That's good. That's good documentary filmmaking.
Oh my god, it's gonna cost me $67 for pizza.
What?
Jesus Christ, what?
Okay, well, because I have to get Peaches his own pizza because I don't want him to eat mine.
So guys, super chats for pizza. Anna needs $67 plus tax for pizza. All right.
Guys, we need to get Anna and Peaches their own pizzas.
Well, no, because here's the thing. He's a boy, so he eats a lot of food. And when I get pizza, I get the biggest one so that way I could have it, for the next day. So I have leftovers because leftover pizza is fantastic. But so then I get him his own pizza, and he likes the barbecue chicken, which of course is expensive as hell. And I get him his own size, so that way there's no chance of him touching my pizza. Because here's the problem I've always had in life. I am very picky. I only like a certain thing or a certain couple of things, but everyone else in the world likes those same things that I do. So they eat their own stuff, but then they also want to eat mine. So my shit runs out first, and they still have stuff to eat that I won't touch. So it's just the biggest issue, and I just don't like to deal with it. So I'm like, you know what? I will buy you your shit, and I will buy my own, and I will make sure that my stuff, yours doesn't run out, so you can't touch mine.
Have you ever seen that Bugs Bunny gif where he's like, mine, all mine, and he's like stomping on Daffy Duck's head and putting him back down in the hole?
Is that me with food?
That's you with food, yeah. I'll have to send that to you later. I just saw you, like, I don't even know what Peaches looks like, but in my head internally I saw you just like shoving him back down the hole, like, get away, it's mine.
It's my pizza, don't fucking touch it. Thank you, Jessi. You did not have to do that for the Anna Pizza Fund. Tell Peaches to get his own. I do. I buy him his own pizza. That's part of the expense of it.
Well, I'd tell him to go buy his own pizza.
Well, thank you.
He earns his own money. He's a working man. You don't got to love an ass. I know what's up though. Jeff and I take care of each other all the time. We think it's more fun to treat each other back and forth than to, split things and stuff like that.
That is fun. It's special.
Also, Jeff treats me more because he makes more money than me. And for no other reasons, because we're an egalitarian household.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mary. I stand with Jessi. Peaches can get his own. Well, thank you, guys.
He can get his own.
It's going to be here at 5:05 p.m.
Nice.
People needs to get in this chat and send money for Peaches pizza. He's got to start courting him if we want Peaceful to be a reality.
I've never understood barbecue chicken pizza anyway. Like, couldn't you just eat barbecue chicken?
Yeah, it's a weird combination. I'm like, one or the other, please.
He absolutely loves barbecue sauce. It's like, me with hot Cheetos, like, that's him with barbecue sauce. He just fucking loves barbecue sauce. I don't understand because I hate barbecue sauce, but he likes it.
You also hate water, so. I said, but you also hate water, so.
That is true. That is very, very true. But let's get into like the actual topic.
Right?
Thank you for the super chat. Even though you did not say anything, I still appreciate it. Who wants to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay.
All right. So Lucasfilm expresses lack of self-awareness on Martin Luther King Day. On Martin Luther King Day, the official Star Wars Twitter account posted the following. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him it is right. Martin Luther King Jr.
Guys, that's the most hypocritical shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yes. What does everyone have to say about this?
Out of Disney's mouth? That's retarded. I'm sorry. I know that we're not supposed to say the R word or whatever, but that's retarded because aren't these the same people that are constantly shrinking away from putting front and center Black people and giving them like they did that shit with China and Finn's character.
Very retarded is the perfect word because retarded's actual definition is slow. And you have to be slow to not understand how this quote applies directly and heavily ironically to you and your company.
It's just so, it was trending. Finn was trending on Twitter. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember, but he was trending because people are still pissed off about what they did to Finn. He was supposed to be a stormtrooper turned Jedi. Everybody knew it. Force Awakens set it up for that. And look, I never liked The Force Awakens. I felt like it had some redeeming qualities, but from get-go, I didn't like Force Awakens. And I'm sitting over here like, okay, so you did one good thing in The Force Awakens. You set up this really compelling plot for a stormtrooper turned Jedi, and you fucked it all up in The Last Jedi. There were so many things they fucked up in The Last Jedi, but they fucked it all up in The Last Jedi. And it's trending the other day on Twitter because we haven't forgotten, and you're tweeting this nonsense. Like, it's not an untrue statement out of the mouth of Martin Luther King Jr. Absolutely, I'm 110% on board with that statement. It's important, even today, right? But out of your mouths, Disney, I'm laughing. You've literally made me laugh at this beautiful statement. Wow.
What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, it's the irony behind it, and as you guys said, the hypocrisy of it. It's just ridiculous knowing their track record and how they've actually treated people of color in their properties up until this point, and seeing them post something like that and then ignore other things and promote other things. It's annoying to me, and they need to get their heads out of their asses, because if they think that speaking this way is going to get people to notice them for something virtuous, they have the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm. God, that's a great sum up picture right there.
I couldn't find this. I actually, so I did a video on this the other day, but, I was making the point of how, what did George Lucas do with, the black characters in Star Wars? Lando runs and operates his own business, and he runs Bespin. He is in charge of all of Bespin. In Return of the Jedi, he destroys the second Death Star. It's not Han Solo, it's not Luke Skywalker, it's the black man.
Yep.
What about in the prequels? Only human on the Jedi Council is a black man.
Yep.
Also, let's not forget Captain Panaka, the black man who served as the Queen's primary guard.
Yeah.
Impressive, replaced by a different black, I forgot the actor in the next one. So
I have both of their action figures. And what does Disney do? A janitor and comedic relief.
Literally the hired help.
Yeah.
Literally the person you hire to come into your home and clean your toilets.
And the bumbling fool who manages to barely make his way throughout the entire sequel trilogy. The only thing he serves to do is scream Ray the entire time. Let's just point out how incredibly important the white chick is to me.
And let's make sure he doesn't get her in the end, because why would we do something actually progressive, actually the root of the word, progress, has been moving forward, has been doing something new that we haven't done before. Clearly, as we can see here, not just cinema, but Star Wars has already done this, and better than you ever did. So you had a chance to break new ground and actually put a black man in a relationship with a white woman on screen. This should, if you don't understand how sensitive that is as an issue, as a racial issue, then you need to go look up Emmett Till, and that's all I'm going to say on that front, because that is an issue on both sides of it. On the one side of all the men who want to protect their precious little women, all the precious little white women, and by the way, on the black community, the women in the black community who very frequently lash out. This was a big plot point in that adorable chick flick Save the Last Dance. Where they lash out because the white girl's taking the good brothers away from us. This is what happens. People want to stop this from happening, and it is both misogynistic and sexist to do it. And it is one of the few barriers that cinema, that television, that advertising is afraid to break down. And Disney, J.J. Abrams actually for once had the balls to do something real and teed you up for that relationship. And I think if he had been given the helm, would have folled through on that. And good for him for that alone. But Ryan Johnson just tucked his dick up in his asshole where it belongs. He might have had and pussied out of that so he could snip at the foot of some white woman who literally has no agency. He made Ray chase two different white guys around, asking them to show her place. If that doesn't tell you what he thinks about women, I don't know what else does. People.
Well, I mean, also they want to be woke, but I mean, there's other movies that have done it better. Like I know a lot of people don't get it, but I loved Cloud Atlas. One of the main characters is an Asian woman, and then Halle Berry and Tom Hanks, they end up together, and it's Tom Hanks telling their grandkids the story, and it's a bunch of little mixed race kids. So I mean, it's not unheard of to have interracial couples in movies, and you can do it. And I mean, it's been done before in the sci-fi part of, Cloud Atlas. And even because one of the things is Cloud Atlas is, for those of you who don't know, it's different eras in time, but with the same type of characters. And so it shows you how like their different lives. And so in the futuristic, which you think is actually, caveman times, but then you find out it's a post-apocalyptic future, and the white people are the ones that turn into savages and the black ones are the ones that are advanced. And so Halle Berry ends up saving Tom Hanks and his tribe from cannibals, but they end up together, and it's an interracial couple. There's also another interracial couple, which is the Asian girl and then the white guy.
To be fair,
they don't have the balls though.
Yeah.
They don't have the balls to do that shit. Like, you had a perfect tee up here. You had a perfect tee up with Finn. Like, for contrast, I retweeted this out the other day. Finn walks into Ray and he's like, so I ran right into you and you looked at me like no one ever had before. And you could have had that beautiful relationship, or you can have her with Kylo Ren, who's like, you have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing, right? Like,
you murders his dad.
Right?
Here's the thing though, guys. Even in the Cloud Atlas example, you're still missing that part. Even in the Cloud Atlas example, white man, black woman. Go to Firefly, white man, black woman. Most of these things are white man, black woman. It's very, very infrequent. I just had an example and it popped out of my head though. Very, very infrequent that you have black men. Oh yeah, Save the Last Dance, honestly, is one of the few examples. It's actually a legitimately good chick flick from the early 2000s with Julia Stiles.
I remember that one, yeah.
And that's what the whole thing is about. It's about a white girl who goes to a predominantly black school, starts dating a black guy, and has to deal with the, walking the line of the sister's her best friend, but even she's on the side of you're taking one of our good ones away, and like it faces and tackles that subject head on, that's how you need to do it. Just fucking talk about it. You have a problem, talk about it. You have an issue, talk about it. You feel a certain way about things, fucking discuss it. We don't solve our problems by pussyfooting around it and running in circles around it. No.
They didn't even have the balls to do what Bridgerton did on Netflix, right? That's just a series. I don't know if you guys have seen Bridgerton yet. I'm so
I just want to address someone in the chat.
5 minutes in, and I couldn't take it.
Someone in the chat wants to go, sorry, Jessi, I don't understand angry feminists. Well, open your fucking ears, because that's not what's happening here. If you think this is angry feminists, maybe you need to examine your own biases.
I mean, I consider myself a classical feminist, but I don't think it's necessary anymore, so it's kind of a moot point for me. Like,
I consider myself an egalitarian. I call shit like I see it. If it bothers me, it bothers me. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't need to attach a label or an ideology to anything I say, because that to me isn't helpful. If I tell you an ideology or put a label on my perspective, then you're going to judge me based on what you think I believe. I'm just going to tell you what I believe. So if you want to decide that I have a label, if you want to decide that I have a this or whatever, that's for you to decide. You can do that, or you can actually listen to the words that come out of my mouth and listen to the things that I say to you, because that will actually tell you how I feel and what I believe. And if you're not going to do that, then I'm not going to engage.
Yeah, it is bizarre. It is really bizarre that they would go about tweeting out this huge Martin Luther King tweet and pointing to their own righteous moral superiority.
Well, there was more. There was a follow-up tweet to that tweet. Jessi, you want to read?
Sure thing. Today we honor Dr. King and celebrate his legacy. The Lucasfilm family is committed to the fight for justice and equality in every corner of the galaxy. Each of us keeps the dream alive. Yeah, okay, sure. Tell me more.
Oh, but wait.
There you go.
Shrink his ass. Yeah, shrink his ass. Why not?
Boom.
They didn't even properly fill it in with anything over there. It's really sparse on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
They just tried to balance it with light.
It's really badly off-centered.
No, well, so what they did was they just lassoed this and they moved it up and they made it bigger. They also got rid of Chewie.
Oh, God.
Like, no Chewie.
You didn't need him anyway. We're going to play ping pong with whether or not he's alive or dead anyway, so you're not going to be invested when this is over.
Well, they also got rid of Maz Kanata, which is voiced by a black woman. You notice that?
Oh, shit, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, Chewbacca was the, like a diversity representation in the original trilogy, so.
God, they're such fucking cowards. Like, she's not even on screen, you fucking dingleberries. Jesus.
She's a black man. Yep, and that's a problem. What?
I don't know. Why do we kowtow to like, I understand why they count themselves with China. That's right. Right. I fine. I get it. You're gonna go where the money is, and that's fine. I'm actually not opposed to them going where the money is and doing what they have to do to secure their money. But don't sit there and grandstand simultaneously, right? Like if you're going to do the capitalist thing and follow the money and do what it is that you have to do to procure your money in specific areas, I understand that mentality as a corporation. What I don't understand is why you feel the need simultaneously to sit there and shove in everybody else's faces over here how morally superior you are. That's what hits me in the gut, right? Like
exactly. We don't expect you. Nobody looked to Disney to be the fucking moral compass of the world. We look to Disney to put out quality entertainment that's good for our kids. That's it. We're not asking you to be the moral police of everybody. And the second you try to be, then you got to watch yourself, because then you get ensnared in all of your traps of hypocrisy. And it's exactly like Mary says, I don't care what you want to do or how you want to run your company, but don't fucking tell me how you're the moral face of everything and how I'm supposed to feel about fucking Martin Luther King when you pulled this shit right in front of our faces.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, actually. Isn't this like Bizarro Land, where we're sitting here and we can see what you're doing. You're not hiding, right? Like it feels like Drac in Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. Where he's like, I've mastered the art of moving so slowly that I'm invisible. No, we can see you there. We can literally see what you're doing right now. You know that, right? Like, we're not blind, we're not stupid. You must think we're stupid. So why are you doing this? What makes you think you could do this and get away with it? Oh.
Well, they did, but then also, as we talked about it, this is one of the tweets from Ryan that I thought was funny. But then it's also, we stand behind Martin Luther King.
Yes!
We're going to wish Kelly Marie Tran a happy birthday, but what happened to James Earl Jones?
Right?
Darth Vader.
Well, they couldn't do it. Oh my God, Anna, they couldn't do it. And here's why. Because they hate everything that came before them, right? They hate how superior it is. They hate how more advanced it is in terms of storytelling and the ability to actually make iconic roles, right? They hate all of that. And so they have to disregard it completely. But they still want to be progressive. So they wish Kelly Marie a happy birthday because she's an Asian woman, right? And so that still counts, doesn't it? Never mind that Star Wars fans actually care about James Earl Jones. Star Wars fans actually care about Darth Vader. The only thing we care about when it comes to not Kelly Marie, but in terms of Rose Tico, the only thing we care about her is, thank God they got her out of the potato sack.
And they fixed her fucking hair. Oh my God.
I have a couple questions here with all this confusion and who's getting wished happy birthday and not, because this is what 2020 casts into doubt for me. Who is the most important minority group right now? Because if I watch the news and stuff, then I think it's black people. But if I follow Disney, then I'm kind of getting an Asian vibe. With a lot of the rest of the media, it's still very gay forward and like a lot of trans heavy, but not lesbians unless they're also black lesbians. So yes. I'm not sure who's
didn't I hear that Asians aren't a minority anymore, that Asians are considered white?
No,
somebody told me that. Somebody said Asians aren't a POC. Asians are white now. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, there's a lot of positive racism, so to speak, with Asian culture because they're considered to have positive racist remarks made against them much more so than other races. So I feel like they're perceived differently, but also with the media, I think a lot of the times having Asian characters benefits those productions because they have a larger audience in places like China that are going to probably be more likely to watch films if they feel they're being represented. So it's different than being politically advocating or socially advocating for a race is different than in your entertainment. So it's more marketable, I think. And that's the real strange thing about all of this is we're seeing the true colors come out in a sense of what's really, where there are real value systems at play versus where there's just something marketable.
Jedi Bunny, that phenomenon you refer to, the model minority, as a Jewish person, I'm very familiar with that. And I actually talked about that in the chapter I wrote for Stephen Walton's book, because it's really sucky because Jewish people and Asian people don't get any less discriminated against by bigots than other groups. But now the social justice side of things has decided that, because we're these model minorities, because our stereotypes are largely positive, that essentially they're pandering to the stereotypes and creating harmful situations for us where they're basically saying, oh yeah, you're white, you don't have any rights anymore. So they're leaving us high and dry, because if you look at it, you know, the same people who want to cite things like, well, hate crimes have gone up this many percent in the past X number of years, want to conveniently ignore the fact that the majority of those hate crimes are anti-Semitic in nature. But no, that's not interesting to them because Jews are white, and so we're not oppressed. And it's that hypocrisy shows out even more when you get into things like how they're now deciding, oh, Asians, there's too many of them now, so they're just white. And what the fuck does that mean?
God, it's like the epitome of racism, though, isn't it? That's literally the epitome of racism. It's just lumping people in together based off of whether or not you think that they're fine over here, or they are this thing or they are that thing, based on your preconceived notions about this particular race, and not taking them on an individual basis. That's the actual definition of racism, is deciding about a person based off of their skin tone before you've ever even had an opportunity to get to know them.
Exactly. And once you ascend the suppression scale, you're no longer considered a part of that minority. So at one point, Italians and Irish people were not considered white, but they ascended that oppression scale to a point where they were able to assimilate in a way that benefited them in whatever way that was, whether that was financially or sociopolitically. But obviously there's a scale to all of these things, and it's not being represented authentically anymore by the media. It's just, so of course everyone's going to be confused, and certain things are just going to be marketable where other things are going to be promoted. And it's interesting to see history unfold in this way with so much confusion.
Well, they even do it to light-skinned. They even do it to light-skinned Black people, right? Like that's a very.
I can tell you all about that shit too.
Yes.
Well, Jessi, did you see that? Well, this is actually a while ago, but so William Shatner gets in. He was okay. So the autistic community on Twitter hates him because he was using like correct social justice terminology, and I guess one of the words is to call a group of autistic people autistics, which I looked it up because then they started screaming at him and he's like, I'm following your own rules. But then one girl like called him a Nazi, or the equivalent of a Nazi, and he responded, I'm Jewish, sweetheart, like that has a very different meaning to me and my people.
Wow.
You know? And I'm just like, could you imagine just calling a Jewish person a Nazi because you don't like something that they tweeted?
Oh, I can imagine, because it's happened to me over my tweets. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have to do it to Jessi all the time, don't they?
I got banned off Twitter for fighting with someone who was accusing me of being a Holocaust denier because I had made a point about the Jewish victims of the Holocaust, but didn't also spend equal time acknowledging the disabled victims of the Holocaust. Therefore, I denied that there were disabled victims of the Holocaust. Therefore, I was a Holocaust denier.
What the fucking fuck?
That's what I had to do. My grandma was a non-Jewish victim of the Holocaust. She survived, but many of her family members did not, and she didn't escape without scars. And she is not Jewish. My dad's side of the family is, and was conveniently not in Europe during that time, but my grandma was. So I'm very familiar with the non-Jews who suffered at the hands of the Nazis as well. I don't need a fucking lesson in the conference on the internet.
Jesus.
It's crazy to think that, I mean, I had a similar situation with my grandmother. She lost most of her family in concentration camps in Siberia.
Wow.
And but if you saw her here in this country, you know, she had a strong Lithuanian accent, but people would say based on the way that she looked, she didn't look particularly ethnic. She had black hair and dark eyes. But other than that, people would just say, oh, she's, you know, a privileged white woman in her 90s. But you don't know how people have suffered until you actually understand their story. And everyone's story is different. And it's not to say that some groups haven't suffered more than others, but to make those assumptions is just, it's forgetting the human experience and how complex it all is.
Yeah, that's the actual thing here, though, is that they've done exactly that. They forget that people are individuals and experience suffering on that individual level, right? Because you could talk to any person in any room at any given time, and you would find out some horrific, traumatic incident that they've suffered throughout the course of their life, and you could find a way to actually relate to them on a human level. But no one wants to do that anymore because it's all about this superficial color of your skin and what someone who they may have never even met, their great grandfather's uncle's brother went through this thing, therefore they carry that PTSD throughout the course of their life with them, even though they've never suffered that specific kind of trauma, right? And so
met someone who did that. Actually met somebody who said that she had PTSD from the Holocaust because her grandma had gone through the Holocaust.
Jesus Lord.
Yep. I'm not That is a real person, a really damaged person.
Any human being out there can relate to you a measure of suffering that they've endured throughout their life, right? And that's important. That's important for us to connect to each other on that level. I'm not saying that we should dismiss the suffering of others. In fact, you really shouldn't. But I think that we should take it very much on that individual basis when we take the opportunity to connect with one another in a way that is actually human and not that superficial just what is the tone of your skin crap, right? That's when you make a real human connection. That's when you begin to understand true suffering, as opposed to trying to combat some sort of weird, vague boogeyman that's out there somewhere, but you can't do anything about.
Yeah. Right. Well said.
Boogie.
I just think that it's so funny just how hypocritical, like how tone deaf do you have to be like when they posted this? And if you go and you look, let me see if I can actually, can I get the tweets when I click on it? Yeah, okay, cool. So when you actually go and look at this and you see, you know, people commenting about it, it's like, yo, what about John Boyega? Like,
yes!
remember when you
yes, that's why I was trending.
Yes, thank you, Akiro.
Yeah, I was really glad that, like, I was upset that they didn't point out the fact that they didn't wish James Earl Jones a happy birthday, but I was really glad that they dragged John Boyega into this. Poor guy, he can't get the fuck away from it. Nope. Like, I was really happy that they brought him up, because you're absolutely the thing that you purport is terrible, right? You are that thing that you say is awful and horrible and you should be fighting. You're that thing. What the hell are you, like, fix your own shit first. Fix your own shit first.
Yep, exactly. And good, you know, and good that the community that it's affecting is calling it out. Because I'm noticing so much in social justice are people telling you the few same voices trying to tell you how to think about entire groups of people. And not all these people belong to those groups. And they love to explain to you how you're not an authority on anything outside your own sphere of influence. So I'm wondering what that made them authorities on all of these things. What made them authorities to speak out about this? Because I will take the word of one Black person telling me about a Black issue over the word of 500 white people. Because they have never been Black. They will never be Black. They will never know what it's like to be. So their insight is as valuable to me as my own. But talking to someone who's actually lived life and walked the walk, I'm probably gonna learn a hell of a lot fucking more by listening rather than assuming I know how someone else's experience goes because I want to feel oppressed because it makes me feel alive.
I think that's just a great approach to take to anything in general, right? Like to take the individualistic words, right? As opposed to, I'm not a fan of any one person representing an entire group at any given time. I think that's probably not a great approach because everybody has different experiences, right? And so a Black person who lived in this area may have a different experience than a Black person who lived in this area, and vice versa with white people or Asian people or any particular race that you want to point at, right? Like, I think it's important to take that individual conversation, that individual discussion, and hear that person's experience, right? So how does John Boyega? Well, we know how John Boyega feels about this. He got fucked. And he's made it very clear that he's displeased, right? But Disney's still running around talking about how it's important to elevate and do better by Black people while you yourselves are sidelining your own Black people. That's completely insane to me.
I think that's a really valid question in the chat. Someone asked, does talking about these issues really help? This is the most sensitive and vocal generation in human history, and all I see is people getting angry. I don't see any improvement at all. Well, you're absolutely right. And a lot of it is talking in circles. And I've found myself guilty of that at many points. And that's why I'm taking a pointed approach this year to create more. And all of us here, you know, we do things other than talk on YouTube. So, you know, I make music, I'm making other movies, videos, other kinds of things like that. You know, Anna draws, paints, creates comics. Kelly, I don't know how much you talk about the rest of your life, but you do other things as well that, you know, your experiences here and your discussions here may inform. Mary, you run a brilliant show and shenanigans, all these different kinds of shows about bringing people together that aren't about discussing these things, but are about creating fun and entertainment. And having a finger on the pulse and understanding the tenor of the conversation and where it steers to and where it doesn't, for us, informs how we create our other media and how we present our other media to the people that we share it with. So for us, it's critically important because without digging into and understanding it, we can fall into the same traps that allowed woke media to take over. So for us, it's very important. But for the people who are just spinning their wheels and want to go over the same things and just be angry all the time and want you to be angry all the time and never want to look for solutions and never want to steer you in a positive direction or at least give you something productive to do with your energy, those are the people you want to steer clear of, because you're right. They're not doing anything about it. They're just talking. They're just shouting at clouds. They're just wanting to be heard desperately. Those are the dangerous people, because when you start listening to them and giving them a platform and a voice, all they do is destructive things, because these are unhappy people, and unhappy people hurt other people.
I think they're going about it in the exact backwards way possible, right? I don't believe that you change people or that you change society by changing society. I think you change society by changing people, by changing hearts and minds, right? By changing individual, where you have those connections, right? That one-on-one, and where people come to the realization internally, and then society shapes around that, right? I think that's how you go about affecting a change, where you find that equality. And I think we were well on our way there. We were doing a great job, right? And then you had this really insane, like, sort of, God, this, I'm sorry, but very Nazi-ish kind of movement take place. This sort of very dictatorial. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Dictatorial stance get taken by this segment of society who were like, get in line, fall in line, or else we will brand you all of the horrible things. And so everyone who was like, yeah, but you're affecting this other thing that has nothing to do with this, dug in their heels, right? And it actually, I think, has an opposite effect of what you want. Whereas in the real world, we open our hearts and our minds and move towards that goal by having those wonderful interactions with each other that don't necessarily, you can come to the point where you discuss those things, and you should, but that's not where you start a conversation with another person. You start a conversation with another person, hey, you like the strawberry cream cheese? Oh yeah, it's tits, man. And then you move from there, right? Like you start in a comfortable place, and then you get to know a person.
Yeah, true. Good point.
I just got called an incel on Twitter because I said I love a video game.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I gotta share this. Let me. Okay, so let me tell you the story. So I saw this and I read. So
it's an amazing game.
You know, I love KOTOR 2, and it specifically says the Sith Lords, and I think that means it's the expansion pack. I have played like tens of fucking hours of this game, and I retweeted, I love it, and then I saw, oh, I got a quote tweet. Real Star Wars cells, meaning, you know, Star Wars cells, know that KOTOR 2 is terrible. I love it so much because I hate it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Also, then I went to this guy's Twitter, and I saw for real KOTOR 2 is unfinished. If you like what if like you've been able to move on or whatever, you're fake as fuck. It's like,
shut up.
Well, so I know he's gonna delete it, so I took a screenshot, and I'm just like, you know, when you don't do the research on the person you decided to talk shit on, and you're completely unaware she spent tens of hours live streaming and playing the game and loves it, this is what ignorance looks like. So
I love that.
Wow.
I just wanted to share it because I'm like, I'm an incel. All right. And I just want to ask, whenever somebody calls me an incel, I'm like, when was the last time you got laid? Let's compare notes and let's see who the real incel is in there. Thank you very much, mic drop.
And if liking video games makes you an incel, then you and I are the most sexually active incels that have ever lived.
I know, right?
And probably helping Kelly on the list too. So.
You should have sent him to me, Anna. I'm the actual incel of the group right now.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You have a boyfriend. You guys are just long distance.
Wait, the four of us. It doesn't have to be a regular thing, but every now and then the four of us should get together and have an incels gaming group.
Oh my god! Yes.
Oh my god! Please.
Yes.
100%.
I am 100 for that.
Let's do it.
It can't be Smash Bros. Because their servers suck. That's all I'm saying.
We're working on it. Speaking of incels, by the way, McFrozen Nuggets. Did you guys hear what happened to his channel? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, McFrozen. Yeah, okay. Apparently, he was like, he had just hit the threshold. He'd been working his ass off for years, and like started uploading stuff in 2015, and then a few years ago decided to really like put out stuff and ramp it up and all that. And he had like just was hitting his 1,000 subscribers. just hit the watch hours he needed and was just submitting. He was like, oh my God, I'm finally getting monetized. I'm finally going to make some money off of this. And then he got a notification saying his channel was being disabled due to severe community violations.
What?
Never received a community strike before, a copy strike before, any of that stuff. Just got bam, taken down. So he's been reaching out to people from the secondary channel, which is at T-Day Jedi. And he might still be on Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, spread the word. I know Jeremy's I think helping him out, trying to help him out with it. And he was able to get YouTube to say they're going to review it and see if it was done in error. So at least making a little progress. But spread the word about this stuff. Make sure people know about this stuff. Make sure people talk about this stuff, because while things on YouTube have gotten a little bit easier in the past few weeks for some of us, there still are a lot of these censorship bills they're trying to push through.
It's actually really terrifying, right? Because they were saying, like, I've actually been, what happened to Josiah? I can't remember. They struck him down, right? And so, like, it's actually terrifying for those of us who are YouTube, like, you rely on that YouTube to be your primary source of income or whatever, because you never know where, when, why, or how they're going to strike, right? Yep. You just know that you are always on the precipice of potentially being completely demolished by YouTube, and they don't tell you why. They won't even tell you, like, you'd be willing to potentially even delete the content, right? Like, just tell me what I did, right? And I'll get rid of it. No, there's none of that. They don't communicate with you. They don't discuss with you what it is that you've done. They just decide that they're going to demolish you, and you have to own that. And that's absolutely terrifying.
Can I ask you guys' opinion? Should I tweet this?
I got laid this morning.
Yes, do it, and I will retweet.
Yes, I'm with you.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable tweeting.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
You guys open your heart on this one.
Do it. Do it.
Okay. I did it. I usually don't like to do those kind of things, but I'm just like really, really.
What does Star Wars Cell mean? What is that? I've never heard that term.
It's just saying that I'm like a Star Wars channel, but I'm an incel.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so silly.
It really is. Like, that's the weakest comeback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if they were talking about being celibate from Disney Star Wars, then I could be on board. But because I'm celibate from Disney Star Wars.
Kelly's like one of the few. You haven't seen the sequel trilogy, have you?
I stopped with The Last Jedi. I have not seen Rise of Skywalker.
That's right. You haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. Jedi Bunny's the only one who's maintained her innocence.
I am untouched. I'm unscathed.
Well, Mary, where do you stand? Rise of Skywalker, better or worse than The Last Jedi?
Technically it is worse than The Last Jedi, in terms of just the insane amount of, there's no cohesion with it whatsoever. I hate The Last Jedi more.
I don't actually agree with that. I think if you actually dig into The Last Jedi, I think a lot of us forget how disjointed The Last Jedi really was, because we don't think I can watch it ever. But The Last Jedi actually makes less sense. For as jumbled and disjointed as The Rise of Skywalker is, and as pointless and useless and easy as every plot point is, it tracks one to the next to the next. Okay, we're going to go on this random wild goose chase Indiana Jones as scavenger hunt across the galaxy to pick up all these pieces that are conveniently exactly where we need them to be so we can defeat the evil emperor who's back for some reason. It's not great, but the story tracks, as opposed to The Last Jedi, where there are things that just functionally don't make sense.
Yes. I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, but The Last Jedi was just so, like you said, Jessi, disjointed. I just could not follow it. There was no cohesion. And I have heard that Rise of Skywalker was more like a video game formula where you'd have like task completion elements to the plot.
Yeah.
That has like a cohesive element to it.
I think for me, it boiled down to the breakneck pace of The Rise of Skywalker. It was that I couldn't process what had taken place quickly enough to figure out where I was in the moment. And I think because of that breakneck pace, it amplified everything just super, super big for me. Like I said, I hate The Last Jedi more because of everything that it did to the canon. But for me, like when I can't even have an opportunity to stop and absorb what the hell is going on, like the original trilogy had those moments, right, where you would stop and have a quiet, soft moment where you would just interact with these characters on a personal level, right? Like where Luke is talking to Leia and he's like, "Do you remember your mother?" Right? And you stop and you breathe for a moment there. There's none of that in The Rise of Skywalker.
Mary, I think that's exactly why I liked it so much better, is because I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to process or absorb anything that was going on. I just had to be there. Unlike The Last Jedi, where I looked at my watch at least twice during that movie to see if it was over yet. The only time I looked at my watch during Rise of Skywalker was when Proper made the best joke that I died for in the theater, because if you get to the part where they fall into the quicksand, he leans over and he goes, "And that's the movie." And I kept my watch out of a desperate hope that maybe we had been through enough time that it really could be. So for those reasons, which I appreciate, it's a very valid reason, Mary, but on my end, I appreciated not having time to have to process the absurdity that was that dog shit pile of movie.
That's fair. And to each his own, right? I think you could make a valid argument on either end for either one of them. Like I said, I hate The Last Jedi more, mainly because of what they did to Luke. But for me, I really felt like I had been stuck on a roller coaster when I was watching The Rise of Skywalker and wanted to throw up the entire time and just couldn't find the off button. And
Don't you love how the original trilogy discussion used to be, okay, which one is the best one? And it was like an actually badass discussion that Return of the Jedi usually got left out of, but you could make valid points for all three. And the conversation about the sequel trilogy is, which one do you hate the least versus which one do you hate? The absolute biggest train wreck. Which one do you hate the most? You hate them all, but which one do you absolutely hate the most?
Yeah, well, which one do you hate the least is pretty easy, because everybody agrees Force Awakens is the one you hate the least, right? But which one do you hate the most is a valid question, and it could go either way. And that is a hilarious thing to point out, is that you'll sit there and you'll talk about, A New Hope versus Empire all day long, and
my new favorite debate, which I actually think I might want to have, maybe as an extended marathon, very drunk watch, is a technical comparison of actually which one technically is the shittier film. Because people want to say, oh, well, you can say what you want about it. The Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi is a great, beautiful masterpiece as a piece of film, and same thing, Rise of Skywalker. No, neither of them are. They're actually very poorly written, very poorly edited, very poorly made across the board. And I'd love to have a really deep dive technical discussion, again, probably very intoxicated, as to which one is actually shittier. Which one of these broken films is actually the shittiest one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be fun, right?
Very fun. That sounds good.
Yeah, we'll just.
I like that idea.
I personally hate The Last Jedi the most.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Like, even so, I only watched Rise of Skywalker once, and I live tweeted my reaction. You can find that if you would like to go back that far in my timeline. But I don't. At least like The Rise of Skywalker, I'm like, finally, this shit's fucking over, But at least like they had that little, side comment that was, a bash at Rian Johnson, where Luke's like, you don't throw this kind of thing as a Force Ghost. I was like,
how you treat a
I like that jab. So I mean, which is sad, the fact that he had to come back as a Force Ghost like that and just to do a jab at Rian Johnson.
How vindicated did he have to feel though in that moment?
I know.
It's sad. It's not much.
I love that Walker got his medal too. I did like that.
I mean, like I was pissed off that it was Maz Kanata that gave it to him. Like you spent all that fucking time there with Leia and she never handed it over. What the hell? Like all the time he's there at the base with Leia. Nothing's going down. She's still alive and kicking. There's no why? Why? Well, I know why, because we lost Carrie Fisher and they couldn't shoot that scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it still didn't make any fucking sense, and it's a very small payoff after we didn't get Luke, Han, and Leia back together on screen. So.
Well, we got to see a scruffy looking nerf herder in The Rise of Skywalker.
We did, didn't we? God, he didn't even fucking shave. He didn't even shave for that shit.
That's how much he's like, fuck this. I'm not keeping with the canon of the character. I'm not shaving my face for you guys.
I told you I'm not coming back.
How much?
He just showed up on the set in pajamas and they were like, please, just pants. Can we just get pants, please? Please. I do love him for that though, showing up unshaved as shit. Like, this is not how you looked when you died, my dude. This was not how you looked when you died. Like, no one is going to confuse this with the fourth.
Technically, your hair does keep growing after you die. So,
random fact you pulled right the hell out of nowhere.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, your hair and your nails keep growing after you die.
It's skin shrinkage, because I looked that up when I was little because it creeped me out so much to think about that. And it's actually, it looks appearance-wise as though your hair and nails are growing, and people used to think that, but then it ends up being skin shrinkage because your skin starts to shrink back after a while, so it makes the appearance that it's longer.
Ah, interesting.
But it would be really
on more.
Maybe we could call up like Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy and see what they say about it. But no, oh yeah, that's right, they died. We can still thank you for the super chat. Go, Anna, just saw your tweets and I only watched Force Awakens, just couldn't watch any more of that. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. But thank you for the super chat. The Sith dagger, nothing about it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Nobody can answer that because the people that put it in there didn't even have it make sense.
Well, you have to figure by the time all that stuff settles, because it's sitting in the middle of a fucking ocean, right? By the time all of that stuff settles, there is no way in hell any of that lines up with a dagger that was created, decades beforehand, right? Presumably. And so there's no way that it would sit there from that specific angle. None of it makes sense. I can't even try to rationalize this in my brain. I'll need Tylenol. I will need Tylenol. Fuck. Have you ever seen that scene in Christmas Vacation? Like, hallelujah, where's the Tylenol? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's how I feel 99% of the time that I'm online these days. Jesus. It just doesn't work.
What was it? Oh, you know what I actually was watching last night? So, I don't have Disney Plus. My friend gave me her login, so we use it, for the Munchkin and whatnot. And I saw there's like the making of The Mandalorian.
Oh.
And I watched it, and the first episode's all about the directors and, them talking about how they all like had to work on different episodes and whatnot, and gives you a little insight on each director. Okay, and so the one episode that I think, Kelly, have you seen The Mando or no?
I finished it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you remember the terrible episode in season 1 with like the widow chick and the dog people?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I hated that episode.
Yeah. Well, so when it's Bryce Dallas Howard's turn and they're talking about like, what type of director she is. And she said that it's like a play and she wants to focus on the actors and showing their emotion. And that's more important than the story. And I was like, now I understand why this was a train wreck. And I also learned that every other word Bryce Dallas says is the word like. And then I was just like, well, I just said it now too. But
I don't understand why it was so difficult to get one damn director for at least each season. Right? Like you could, this is the problem, I think. And look, I don't hate.
I think it's because Mary, they film it almost simultaneously. Like, so they're filming different episodes at different times, or excuse me, at the same time. So, they're filming Bryce Dallas Howard's episode, but they're also filming another episode, maybe on a different lot or on location at the same time, since Pablo doesn't have to be there.
It's also just the thing now for big studio shows to, have guest directors on all their episodes. And it's now the thing to do that, up and coming directors who want to try to push to the next level or whatever are going to, test out.
See, this is the problem though. You sacrifice continuity and one cohesive vision for time. Right? For time? Because I can only assume that's the reason to have a bunch of simultaneous scenes all being shot at the same time, right? Is that you're doing it because you're trying to save time. But that's a shortcut that doesn't need to be taken.
Well, it's not always about time. Sometimes it is also to do with things like actors' schedules. I mean, there are things in the contract about how many hours people are willing to work and, give up to do these things. And also, I mean, how many hours in a day you're legally allowed to work, and when they're on schedules and timelines, you have to meet deadlines.
I did. I always get him and Pedro and Pablo, they're interchangeable for me.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
And
they're
then
both,
yes, to
they're
give
both
Bryce
shitheads.
credit, her Bo-Katan episode was good. I liked that episode. But continue your thought, Jessi. I apologize for interrupting.
That's it. I did not like that episode at all, actually. But what was my? Now I'm trying to remember what my train of thought was about it. Oh, well, and so the real problem I had with this Mandalorian season is just all the backdoor pilots. I mean, that's where the continuity was really, really suffered. And also it's the kind of thing we've seen from Disney before. This is not a new phenomenon where Disney, they don't understand that visual consistency is a critically important part of the Star Wars universe. And tonal consistency is a critically important part of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
You can achieve those things with multiple directors in a single season, but you need to, one, prioritize getting seasoned, experienced directors. So the Carl Weathers episode in season 2 didn't feel separate tonally from the rest of the show, where even if you like the Bryce Dallas Howard one, that one tonally was very different from the rest of the show.
Well, especially the Taika
Season
Waititi
1 or
one.
season 2, Jess?
What? Both actually.
Okay.
Honestly, both of them. I think we all pretty much disliked across the board disliked her episode from season 1. But even the one in season 2, though it's a better, tighter episode, it's tonally very different, and it's also one of the episodes that very much sidelines the Mandalorian as the main character of the titular character of your series. So what I think this really goes back to is just, once again, this lack of foresight at Lucasfilm. They just don't have a Kevin Feige or someone who's able to plan multiple steps ahead and build a cohesive universe that all feels like it takes place in the same land. You know, that was the incredible feat of Marvel with the MCU. And in spite of having a much simpler task ahead of them and a precedence for it, Lucasfilm has not managed to do that yet.
Well, case in point, that moment in the Taika Waititi episode where they literally like beat Baby Yoda while he's in the bag, right? Yeah. And they're joking about they're sitting there joking with the shots being fired and the stormtroopers can't hit any. That doesn't fit in anywhere else with any of the. It doesn't fit anywhere, right?
And so lack of awareness and how seriously your audience takes Baby Yoda, because you told us to from the first episode. By the way, the Mandalorian was willing to burn everything down to protect him. You told us to care this much about him, so you can't treat him lightly like that, and you can't turn him into a baby eating monster the next season.
Yes, that pissed me off so badly. I caught a lot of flack for that. I got a lot of flack for that online. But like, you want me to view Baby Yoda as this wonderful infant, right? This child, this unknowing little child or whatever, while simultaneously having him be able to have been trained and use force powers. So now you've told me that he knows how to use force powers. He's been trained, but he's eating the eggs of this woman. What do you want me to feel, Disney? What do you want me to feel?
Exactly. Tonal consistency. It shouldn't be that difficult. But that's one of the reasons why, in spite of the things I do like about The Mandalorian and like some of the elements that Jon Favreau brings to Star Wars, why I'm not on board, just because there's a couple of things that felt good in this season. I'm not jumping back on board because they're still showing that they haven't fixed some of the key problems that have plagued them since they set out on this journey.
Yeah, it's really, really bizarre. Look, I'm not speaking as a person who hates The Mandalorian. I've always been firmly kind of in the middle on The Mandalorian, with the exception of the final episode of the second season where I'm strongly in love with it. I've always been firmly in the middle on it. I don't hate The Mandalorian. There's some good stuff in there. There's some really bad stuff in there too. And so I think it's important that we're intellectually honest with ourselves when it comes to reviewing this kind of stuff, because as much as I believe Jon Favreau's heart is in the right place, I believe he wants to do the right thing, I still think that we need to hold him to a certain standard, because we're still facing the deterioration of the beloved franchise. So you can't just take a step back and go, oh, because there's some good stuff and because you can clearly tell that they mean well. And of course, intention does matter. It absolutely does matter. But that execution needs to be handled appropriately as well.
Exactly. I don't buy the smoke and mirrors crap that, because you made me feel good, gave me a moment that felt good, then I'm going to forgive everything else that you did. That's not good storytelling. If you have to ask me to forgive that many sins and overlook that many missteps, then, because I had some serious problems in that episode leading up to the Luke Skywalker moment. I liked a lot of things about it, but I had some serious problems with it too. And I'm not just, I can do both. I can say I loved the execution of that moment in a vacuum, while it still doesn't forgive or change or fix any of the other things that have been done to Luke. I can say I love and appreciate them doing this in this moment, but that doesn't mean just because I appreciate this moment that I'm not going to, I mean, that's me, that's the SJW bullshit review you see all the time. Well, it has these structural problems and these story problems and these technical problems, but it does a really, really great job handling this woke element that I really super appreciate. So 10 out of 10, even though like this game is completely unplayable, it has a black trans character, 10 out of 10. Like exactly. That's the kind of shit that I'm hearing, from people out there that want you to just live in this absolute space. We don't live in this absolute space. We are thinking people with nuanced opinions who, like Mary said, we are listening to the individual, listen to what the individual says. And we are entitled to not give you our absolute, yes, I love it. No, I hate it. I'm on board. I'm not on board. Yay, nay, I for it, against it. Drawing the battle lines. We're just here to have a discussion about the things we like and the things we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I like fucking Cara Dune, and I will praise that. I will praise the Mandalorian until the end of time for the way that it handled that chick power moment, right? Because it didn't point at it. It happened organically, and it worked well. And for the first time in a very long time, I was sitting there going, "Yeah, girl power!" Right?
Most importantly, it was a group of women who we had watched be equally as badass on their own in other places.
Yep.
So understood. It's earned, it's not these women who've always been secondary characters or unimportant characters or bullshit characters coming together to fucking save the day and with some chick music. It's just, hey, we're all here to do this. We are soldiers. Just so happens that all the tits are here in the same hallway.
You know what? Oh my God, guys, I put the wrong address on the pizza.
No.
Oh no.
So I order it through Yelp, and I just had it doesn't read my address for whatever reason. So it just said, "Oh, do you want to send it to your location?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So it sent it to my neighbor's house.
No.
Does your neighbor have
Peaches was able to get it. So the pizza.
God. Oh my God.
And I was like, I did not send it to the wrong address. And I checked. I was like, ah, shit, I did. I jinxed myself after talking about it.
Well, at least you're getting the pizza now.
I was gonna say, yeah, at least you've got the
Let me read a couple super chats. Maggie, thank you for super chat. Like, OMG, Mary, you're on with that Jedi gerbil chick.
It's Bunny. Get it right.
I know. Bunny.
Southern cousin.
John Thomas, thank you for the super chat. I'm out until the Sith Lord Darth Kennedy is removed. Oh, well, there's a lot of people right there with you on that. But thank you for the super chats, guys. I know I've missed some. I'll have to go because I can't highlight them. I'll have to go bring them up. Let me go find the page. What have I missed?
Mary, I just wanted to say kudos because I've come on Shenanigans now a handful of times, and there's always been a big gap in between. And every time I come back, it's just a tighter show. It's a more impressive show. It feels like you're on a real game show now.
Thank you.
No one else is doing anything like that that I've seen. I'm actually gonna have to pick your brain because I want to incorporate a few of those elements into some of my streams as well because it's so fun and cool and just neat to be a part of. So kudos to you for doing that.
I will happily bow for that one because I've worked my ass off on Shenanigans. It is my baby, and I love that stream. So
and I'm glad you've stuck with it because it's so much fun.
I gotta get you on sometime, Anna. I think you'd have fun on Shenanigans.
Yeah, you would.
It's like improv or whatnot, right?
No, improv is not even always a part of it. It's occasionally a part of it, and we wouldn't do it on the night you were on. So it's mostly games.
It's really more like a game show now, where like you don't have to have a special skill set to come on and do well and have fun.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I definitely can't come on karaoke because I sound like Neil when I sing, and I don't want people's ears to bleed. So,
when I figure out how to have guests on Live It, I'm gonna have you come on and sing on one of my my musical streams.
Oh shit!
I did give Mary an American Idol contestant, so that I think
she did. I need to get her back on, man. She was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. Although, to be fair, I was an American Idol contestant too. I just didn't go on air. I only got through a few rounds, so I didn't actually get on TV. So
cool. That's still awesome. I
did not know that.
It was years ago. It was years and years and years ago. So
I once auditioned for The Voice, and the woman in our room didn't look up for any of us. So, didn't even look up.
That sucks.
There's cake in the lobby. Get out.
Let me read a few of these super chats, guys. Wicked Steel, thank you for the super chat. Yes, it was me who sent you the code red to you, and congrats on 169 subs. Thank you. Yeah, 169. I did not get any code red Mountain Dew in my PO box. I'll have to go check again. But shiznits, did those fuckers steal my Mountain Dew?
Oh.
Well, so you're not, I don't think you're allowed to send liquids and stuff, because I guess people would send Cecil booze and that he got in trouble for it or something. Or they gave him a warning, like you can't send people booze. So if they can tell it's a liquid, I think they hold it.
Oh, dude. So I actually had this because my one of my listeners in the UK brewed his own cider and really wanted to send it to me. And he couldn't, because you're not allowed to. So he sent me 2 different bottles now. One he listed as cleaning supplies, and the other he listed as fencing equipment.
I have a hack for you guys. I know how to get around this because I was married to a military man for years. You send it in a shampoo bottle.
Nice. Yeah, no, he just listed his as cleaning supplies, and it was and like wrapped the actual bottle, like in paper that said like cleaning supplies on or whatever, and then it had the label and all that shit underneath.
Yeah. You send it as like a shampoo bottle or cleaning supplies or something, and it'll get through. It's not a problem. Yeah.
Oh. Well, see, that's how you get it into like what are they called? Like music festivals and stuff. You put it in lotion, like hand lotion. And so when I used to go to Coachella, like that's how I would sneak it in. Or you have a metal water bottle and you just say that it's water, but it's vodka, which I hated doing because I hate vodka. But I'm not paying like $16 for like a shot. Give me a break.
I'm with you.
How much better my life would have been if edibles were a thing when I was a kid instead of booze, because then you could have just gotten a hold of them, dropped them before you went to whatever event you were going to, and then just been balls the entire time.
Well, I don't like the feeling of getting high. I like being, buzzed a lot better.
Yeah, that's my preference as well.
That was always mine until drinking started to I started getting a lot more negative side effects from it that I was not happy with, and just switched over more and more. And what I found was like, it was just because I had always been a drinker more. And once I started playing around with other stuff, I was like, you get more used to that feeling eventually. You're like, you're just as, you're just as kind of the same amount of in control and the same amount of whatever's. It took a long time for me.
I like a little each, but they're totally different. I feel like I need to feel out how I'm actually feeling like cognitively that day before I embark on anything. But I like them both for different reasons.
See, I had a phase when I was younger where I smoked some weed or whatever. Like I did it relatively frequently, I guess you could say. Frequently enough to know how I was with it. I just prefer throwing back a vodka and orange juice. It's my preference.
I just like tequila or gin. Like that's all I really need.
I was that person for so long, so I know exactly that life, and I still love my drink. I still love the taste of it. You've seen me recently. My capacity to throw down has not been diminished.
Oh no, it hasn't. Can attest.
So there's one more super chat I missed, so let me read it.
Not having hangovers.
ID Crisis, thank you for the super chat. Once you realize that literally anything is a social construct to woke left, you can use it against them, e.g. social constructs are a social construct.
That's how I combat the gender discussion. Well, gender's a social or gender's a made-up social construct. You're right, and so are pronouns. So instead of getting your fucking panties in a wad about what they all mean, just change what they mean to you because it's just as made up.
Wow, that was actually legit right there, Jessi. I would agree with that. Like I would agree with the whole concept of gender, because sex and gender are not the same thing, right? And so I would agree with the fact that gender is it's something internally, right? Or something that we've all kind of come to agree on, right? Yeah. So, but that's fine, and you can do your thing, but don't get pissed when nobody like falls right in line with exactly what it is that you think, because this is an individualistic thing.
Well, I hate the fact that people just expect that because they decide something that everyone in society automatically has to know that and accept that about them. Like, I don't expect people to change the entire way that they build the world because I'm short, That'd be very, egotistical of me. And that's just completely unrealistic. I don't expect them to stop making shelves too high or have stools everywhere for me just because I'm a very small person.
Well, society has very reasonably simplified things down to 2 genders, and they've combined it with sex because it makes sense and it simplifies and expedites things, right? There's a reason society has done it that way, because doing it in a different way is really fucking hard and difficult to implement. So, like, cut everybody a little bit of slack. We've got other shit to worry about.
The funniest part too is everyone wants to make the argument that the genders are too restrictive, so now they want to invent 50 million new, far more restrictive, far more specific boxes to put people into. When wouldn't it just, like, I'm sorry, isn't having just 2 the pretty unrestricted? And the thing is, I'm all for the third pronoun, some third non-binary, non-committal pronoun, because you know what? I get it. There are people out there who really, really need to announce to the world that I'm different and I'm special and I don't conform to your labels. I get it. I was a teenager once too. I've been there. So if you want to announce to the world that you are immature or have time to go on these ridiculous social justice crusades, then good for you. A+. Power to you. So that's what your little non-binary pronoun is announcing to the world. And the rest of us who are perfectly fine with the he, she are letting you know that, yes, we actually have more important things to do with our time than worry about these petty concepts that literally mean nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, go live your life. Nobody's hurting you. Nobody's hurting you.
Exactly. So stop going around trying to hurt other people.
Well, I mean, honestly, a lot of it just turns out to just be stupid Twitter drama, because if you meet somebody in real life and they introduce themselves as whatever, the name is that they introduce themselves with, and then, they're dressed a certain way and whatnot, unless you're a really fucking, asshole, you're not gonna, at least for me, I'm a nice person in real life, even though some people, I guess, online think I'm mean. If you introduce yourself and you say, hi, my name is this, and you act like this and you refer to yourself in a certain way, I'm just going to do the exact same thing. It's like, oh, your name's Mary, but spelled the way it's like with Christmas. I'm not going to start calling you Miri or something like that. That'd be, asshole on my part. And so I feel like people just blow it out of the water on Twitter, especially the whole pronoun thing.
Do you have any idea how many times I've seen people spell my name M-A-R-Y or M-A-R-R-Y or any bajillion, and how often do I correct them? Almost never, because it's right there on the screen. They're either going to spell it right or they're not. And for me to get my panties in a twist over that is silly and ridiculous, and it all sounds the same anyway. So why do I fucking care?
Oh, I totally get my panties in a twist when people spell my name wrong, because I'm like, it's 4 fucking letters.
Guys, I get misgendered constantly. People honestly actually do it, and then people do it on purpose all the time to be shitheads. So, I don't care. That's the whole thing. It's like, I'm actually the one. Y'all are in your little social justice towers crying when someone doesn't magically intuit your unicorn pronoun, and I'm actually out here on the internet facing the trolls who think they're cute and funny because they're like, oh, are you a boy or a girl? I can't tell. I'm so funny. I never graduated the 8th grade. Good for you, asshole. I'm not actually sitting here talking to these fucking people. I don't need a goddamn lecture from somebody telling me what it feels like to have someone not understand your identity. Bitch, I'm not even trying to be special. I'm not even making up any shit for me. I identify as the sex between my legs, and I only ever have. And I've only ever presented as that way, sometimes more androgynously than others. Sure, I had a Kurt Cobain phase in middle school, but the point is, I deal with this shit every fucking day. I'm the last person who's going to tolerate a lecture. I know I'm so insensitive for not intuiting someone else's goddamn gender.
Yeah.
Nicely said. Well, guys, I know it's a little bit early, but Mary does have to go soon, and I got pizza waiting, so I think this is a good time to wrap it up after a little Jessi rant. And then the one and only, the most handsomest man on YouTube that's got Gina Carano in the palm of his hand is live, so we're going to go raid him. But before we do that, ladies, would you like to plug something?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually am going to be going live here in about 15 minutes myself for Wednesday Night Mayhem, where we'll be discussing the fact that Jason Momoa has told everybody who likes Trump to not follow him, and other various things that are going down in media and all of that jazz right now. So, yay!
Kelly, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Hi, I'm Kelly, aka Jedi Bunny, and I do have a YouTube channel. I am not very consistent with it, but you're more than welcome to join me there. I do stream from time to time, and I do upload videos from time to time. So hi. Welcome.
And everyone, Kelly's link is in the description of this video, as well as as well as Mary's and Jessi's. Steven Steele, thank you for the super chat. Let me check in, or super sticker. Let's see what it is. It's a little coffee, a little pear with a coffee. Well, thank you. Thank you. And Jessi, what do you want to plug?
Yeah, so first of all, follow around on this McPherson Nugget story. I'm going to keep trying to break the news on it so we can try to get this guy's channel reinstated. But more importantly, follow me over on Livit. That's capital Livit. It's a streaming, it's an app-based streaming site that I am doing a lot of my streams on now. I'm having a blast over there. It's awesome because you can contribute and participate without spending any money to do it, or you can spend money and participate in other ways as well. It's super, not creepy, weird ways. It's super fun. It's super great. So download the app and then follow me, m.e.godempress. That's Mindless Entertainment God Empress. So check me out over there. My next stream will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you all for being here. Actually, we're going to be on Jessi's channel next week because it's her turn to host next week. This Friday, which is in 2 days, I will be on the Critical Drinkers channel at 1 p.m. to discuss my favorite movie, The Silence of the Lambs. So check it out there. And ladies, again, thank you so much for coming on and being special guests with me and Jessi. It's a pleasure to have you here. And everyone also in the chat, thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. And until next time, everyone have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I put the link in there. Go Ray Drunk. Tell them we sent you. And until next time, may the force be with you because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.
I'll tell you where I thought I came in. In the forest, when the lightsaber goes like this and flies off. I said, oh, what a great entrance. Ah! Ray caught it? She hasn't even been to Dagobah for training.